Hi, this is Clayton from the Tippecanoe County Public Library. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can file your taxes online for free. Filing online has several advantages. It's much faster and more secure than sending it through the mail, meaning that you get your refund much earlier than you would have otherwise. There are two ways to do it. You can e-file through the IRS website using fillable PDF forms. This is the closest to traditional filing. Basically, you fill out the forms on your computer and then you upload them to the website. The other option is online tax software. This guides you step by step through the process, and it is free for most people. No matter how you plan to file, you're going to start off by gathering the same documents. You're going to need some personal information, such as the birth dates and social security numbers for each person filing and their dependents, along with your current phone number and address. You're going to need bank information, so the routing number and account number for your checking account. You're going to need your income statements. That's usually your W-2 or 1099 forms. If you're self-employed, it's a little more complicated. You'll be filling out Form 1040 Schedule C to list your business expenses and income. For things like the W-2 and 1099, those should have been mailed no later than January 31st. If you haven't received it, you might want to check to make sure it's not available to some kind of online portal. Deductions and credits. Some of those will have forms for them. For example, if you have a mortgage, they will send you a 1098 form that says how much interest you paid and what your property taxes were. You will find that for a lot of people this year, you're probably just going to go with the standard deduction because they've raised that quite a bit. For credits, that's mostly going to be stuff like receipts. So, for example, there is a credit for paying tuition, for installing solar panels or buying an electric car. There's a lot of very specific ones, and for the most part, you just need to be able to prove that you paid that money out. The first online option is Irs Free File. This is where you can upload forms directly through the IRS website. You basically download a PDF of the forms that you're wanting, you fill those out, and then you upload them to the e-file site. You do have to create a new account each year because in January they delete everything, so you may need to make sure that you print off a copy for yourself. The main advantage is that it is available for all income levels. The disadvantages is that first off, you do have to fill it out just like you would a regular paper form where you had to do all the math yourself. And second, there's no way to do this with Indiana taxes, so you'll still have to do those on paper. Free File became open on February 12th, and it is open through the end of each year. The other and much more common option is to use online tax software. Most of these have some kind of option where they're free for people with income under $72,000 filing singly. Several major tax prep companies are available. Sometimes you do have to create a new account to get the free service, and a lot of them do charge for state taxes. So for that reason, I recommend that you start off on the Indiana Department of Revenue site. The reason you want to do that is because they list ones that have a specific agreement with Indiana to provide free service. So these are the four services that Indiana has a partnership with. That's TaxSlayer, OLT.com, Intuit TurboTax, and TaxAct. They also list Credit Karma Tax because while they don't have a partnership with them, they do still offer free Indiana services. One thing you want to make sure you do is compare what each service offers because some of them have different income limits. So for example, TurboTax, you had to have below 39,000 income. They also have different age limits. So TaxAct and TaxSlayer, for example, have age limits at 56 and 51. So if you're over that age, you had to find a different way to do taxes. You'll also want to check and make sure that they cover everything that you're going to be wanting. For example, TaxSlayer does not cover certain tax credits that they don't consider to be basic, so then you would have to pay for that service upgrade. You'll also want to make sure you click through the links on the Department of Revenue site, because if you go directly to, for example, TurboTax or Tax Act, you will be going to their paid website as opposed to the specific Indiana. No matter which service you choose, the software works pretty much the same way. You're going to start off by uploading your forms or typing in the answers, and it will guide you box by box to make sure you don't miss anything. And the same thing with your deductions and credits. It's going to start asking you some questions to determine what you might be eligible for. So it will say, did you have a mortgage this year? Did you have any dependents? Pay any tuition? That sort of stuff. And essentially it will go through and check to see what you're eligible for and to make sure you're choosing the right credits and deductions. So for some people, you might be better off having a tuition deduction than a tuition credit. Basically, one of the big advantages of this sort of software is that you don't have to do any math, you don't have to mail in any forms. It's going to do it all behind the scenes for you. And this also helps make sure that there's no mistakes made, and that, again, it chooses whatever options are best for your particular filing. Returns are very fast. As soon as you hit that return button, it sends it off to the IRS and Department of Revenue, and usually they're accepted within hours. In my case, I put it in a Friday afternoon, and within a couple hours, I got an email saying the IRS has accepted your return. And that's when it starts processing to prepare your refund. You do want to make sure you choose a software that does everything you want. There are some that do not include all credits and all forms in their free version. So you can try multiple services though. So if you find that, for example, TaxSlayer does not do a certain credit, you can always go to TurboTax or Tax Act or whichever one you want to try. Nothing is actual final until you submit the return. So if you get to the end and it says, oh, we're going to charge you $10 to file this return, you can say, well, no thanks. When you file your return, a direct bank deposit is the fastest way to get your refund. All you have to do is provide the information for your checking account, and it will directly deposit that money within a couple of weeks usually. You can still get a check through the mail, but that's going to take a lot longer. If you end up owing money, you can also do your payments online. The IRS and Indiana both have websites where you can pay it just like you can any other bill. They have options for credit cards or direct bank account payments. They also have applications where you can set up a payment plan if you need to do it in several installments. In conclusion, no matter how you plan to file, you want to get started early. Not only will that get you a refund faster, but if you do run into any kind of trouble, such as finding that you're missing documents, you're going to discover that well before the deadline. You're going to want to use direct deposit to get a fast refund without having to wait for a check in the mail. And if you file online, you want to make sure you use a free version of the service. If they try to charge you anything, don't be afraid to switch to a different one. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.